Hello there, guys, and welcome to Daily Updates. Today we have a very special guest who is a former member of the EFF, a former member of the Patriotic Alliance, and as of late, a former member of the Umkhonto Wesizwe Party. He's a former member of parliament in the Economic Freedom Fighters and also a national organizer. A lot of people really refer to this gentleman as a mobilizer. If you have him in in your team, you are definitely bound to have people on the ground. Without wasting any time, Mr. Sindane, welcome to the daily updates.
No, good morning, and thank you for having us on Daily Updates. It's a pleasure, really.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's go back to 2024, the elections, and we don't have an outright majority. So then my question would be, what is your view on the political landscape, considering the fact that we no longer have the ANC but the GNU?
Well, look, I think we as South Africans, we failed to be decisive in relation to how we use our votes. We had an opportunity to shape the future of this country, and by electing at least one party and give
Mhm.
it a majority, so that we have a party that we can hold accountable, because we'll be able to identify out of the so many political parties in South Africa to say this one, we gave it the mandate, and therefore we're expecting much from this party. Unfortunately, we created havoc, really. We created instability. We came back with a GNU, and really there's nothing inspiring with the GNU. I think it's a political scam. It was just some sort of an opportunity for those who are, hungry, to say, look, man, it's our turn now, really.
To
If
eat.
we need to do it properly, I will give you my votes. That's all. But tell me, what is it I'll get in return? That's a gentleman's arrangement. So
Okay.
GNU, it's nothing except some way of giving political favors through awarding of government positions and all that stuff. Really, we're in a mess, and but no one to blame but ourselves.
Okay. So then people would really say that, well, maybe we are impatient in terms of the GNU. How about we give it 2 years, 3 years, maybe it's going to work. Do you think before we even go to a year, is it producing results according to you, or should we give them extra time in order for us to see whether they are capable?
No. Definitely, GNU is producing results, but the results are negative.
Mm,
There's too much job losses under GNU. It's not like we've not seen job losses under the ANC when we were still in charge, having the majority. But
mhm.
with the GNU, the rate and the speed in which we're losing jobs, it's extremely shocking. And there is no sense of direction. There is no sense of leadership. We really don't know. You give these people an extra year. You're simply saying just find a way of looting. Why do I talk about looting? Look, my man,
Mhm.
all of a sudden we are now told about some sort of a national dialogue. Really, but now dialogue about what?
and
Don't we
and
know
it's
it is
and
affecting significance?
and
Don't we know
it's about
that?
700 million.
And then we've got 700 million to talk about the things that we already know. We know the level of poverty in South Africa. We know the level of crime in South Africa. There's nothing that we really don't know. We lack implementation. We lack political leadership. But I think those who are in the GNU now have realized that, hey, as bad as things might be, but we can
Mhm.
still find a way of looting without accusing the ANC of looting alone. So it's a collective looting arrangement now. So we don't have that luxury as South Africans. Look, when the ANC was fighting to be in government and
Mhm.
fighting for political power, and not only the ANC, but we'll use the ANC in this context. It had a document which it drafted or adopted between 1992 and 1993 called the Ready to Govern document. So
Mhm.
would take it that the ANC knew what was supposed to happen immediately after they took power. But all of a sudden now you want to tell me that the leaders of the ANC, of course, we were told that this is GNU, but the leaders of the ANC don't know that 1 year down the line what needs to happen.
Mhm.
We are taking on the ride here, and I think really we South Africans need to think very hard moving forward.
This actually takes me to a question that I need to ask you about the unity of black parties under one political banner. I've seen it from the MK, I've heard it from the EFF. People have been speaking about this thing of unity. Do you think that is a possibility?
Well, there is a possibility, and the unity of black parties,
Mhm.
particularly those who are on the left, is necessary. Um, but I also feel that it must never be forced, it must never be imposed on anyone. Currently, the environment does not allow. We see a whole lot of politics of ego, pride, personality. If it's not led by me, no one should then even suggest that they might have to lead this perceived unit of black political parties. But it does not mean that it's not necessary. It's extremely necessary. And we hope along the way, as time moves on, our leaders will find some sort of a platform to say, look, let us shape this thing and agree on how the model in which it should be pursued. It's not going to be easy. EFF is a very serious political organization. MK is starting to emerge there and there, even though it has got its own flaws. ANC still wants to hold on the history. So there are a whole lot of things that needs to be taken into consideration. It's not going to be easy, but it's extremely necessary.
And looking at that, it's not going to be easy, but it's necessary. One thing I think that is standing in the way of that, it's the leaders themselves. Let
Mm.
us imagine, let us look at it lately. Julius Malema, Jacob Zuma, unfortunately, is old, but we'll include him. Can these
Mm.
guys and put Ramaphosa, even though we say it is necessary, can they ever really go on one table and really agree to say that put pride aside, let us work? What is the possibility of that? Knowing very well that these guys probably don't even like each other.
Well, I think meeting in one room is possible,
Mhm.
but agreeing is another thing. It's not like all these three gentlemen don't know what needs to happen. They all know what needs to happen, but the issue is that who must lead that program. And I think that's where the stumbling block is. Zuma knows exactly what needs to happen. Julius knows exactly what must happen.
Mhm.
Cyril knows exactly what must happen, even though he has got some background of appearing like more of a capitalist and all that stuff, but he understands the dynamics and the challenges that South Africans are facing.
Mhm.
But the issue is that who is going to drive this vehicle? The vehicle is there. They all can see that should we agree and meet and formulate something that will defend our people and change the lives of our people, it can happen overnight. But the issue is going to be who must then drive this vehicle. And I think as petty as it might sound, but it's extremely serious because that's the only thing that is holding back this unity of Black South African political parties.
What really motivated you from the EFF or from being a member of the EFF, and then time went, and then suddenly you are a member of Patriotic Alliance? What was the move, like the motivation in you becoming a member there in the PA?
Well, when I left the EFF, and it's funny that I've never spoken really. Why did I leave
Mhm.
the EFF? Something that I continue to do out of respect. But I then had two options.
Mhm.
Either I just stay home and do nothing, or continue being in politics and try to contribute. But I looked for something small. I didn't want your so-called mainstream political parties. I just wanted something small
Okay.
to say, let me just be active somewhere there in my little corner. As time moves on, I will see if this is the party that I would want to invest my time and energy, and if it will take me where I think I'm supposed to go. And when I say me, I don't mean as an individual. I'm
Mhm.
simply saying in relation to the bigger political understandings and programs. So I had to so the PA because um, I, I agreed with its position when it comes to illegal immigration, because that's one of the issues that I felt that should I want to be active somewhere,
Mhm.
this is one to champion. Because I understand that the fight against illegal immigration is not a xenophobic fight. It's a fight that says, look, we're brothers and sisters were all in one continent, we're blacks and so on. But when we travel to your countries, we respect the country, the laws of your country. And African unity must never be chaotic. It must never be done in such a way that it's chaotic. In fact, for it to succeed, the grounds must be prepared now. The ground must be prepared now. So to call for all our African brothers and sisters to respect the rules or the laws of this country, it's also a contribution towards the stability of Africa. Once it becomes united, there will be a rule of law and order. So that's an angle at which I looked at. So I then decided that let me go for the Patriotic Alliance, and of course I could relate with Bracken. Personally, I like Bracken. He's a cool guy. I think I told you in one of our
Yes,
conversations.
yes.
Politics aside, I think he's a cool guy and all that stuff. So it made it easy because we formed the EFF together.
Mhm.
We've got some relation, politically we understand each other and stuff. So I then chose the PA.
Okay. I heard you saying that, well, out of respect for the EFF, you haven't really disclosed. So, am I correct in saying you are still not ready to really disclose why you left them?
No, not really. I don't think I don't think that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I really don't think it matters. What matters is that I chose to take a very painful decision.
Okay.
Not informed by anything, whether I hate EFF or what. No, really. It's a decision that I had to think deep because there are a whole lot of things that I felt already. Um, should I continue remaining a member?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I find I might lose myself in the process. So I had to take that posture that suggests that, look, let me just preserve my, the little energy that I still have, my mental health, and my and all those things that are associated. So I don't like those type of politics
Correct.
of saying I because of what those are not my politics really. I
Um,
left, but it was not an easy decision. The- it remains one of the painful political decisions that I had to take, but it was necessary. Yeah.
Perhaps sometimes change is good for everybody. So then you left, you went from EFF, you went PA, and surprisingly, I was calculating, I don't think it's even more than 6 months. Suddenly, you are a member of the MK. I do want to know why joining the MK, but then before I go there, leaving the Patriotic Alliance, was there any problems there before you left, or was it just something you've done willingly, looking at where you are, what you are doing currently in the PA?
Well, I think it has got to do more with my political background. As much as I enjoyed working in the PA, but I think my politics somehow were misplaced. I could not really relate with the PA way of doing things. I'm more of a Pan-Africanist. I'm more of a socialist. I'm more into, you know, confrontational politics.
Mhm.
More of a yeah. So I'm on the left. So along the way, I realized that no, I might find myself trying to introduce something new here and kill an organization that I did not even help establish,
Mhm.
rather than creating enemies and causing havoc and disunity within the party. Let me just leave this party just the way I found it. Whatever they're doing, if it works for them, it will work for them. But I don't want to be at the center of causing divisions and create unnecessary tensions.
Mhm.
And uh, and and so I had to choose now to say, okay, do I still stay and say no? I tried PA, and then therefore I've lost interest in politics. So when then Floyd decided to join MK, I could then say, look, man, somehow let us give it some time and see if it will somehow take a posture of presenting itself as a political party. And And the reality of the situation is that his leadership, gave MK some sense of stability, political direction, both
Mhm.
politically and administratively. I mean, there was some sense that MK now is starting to shape itself as a proper political party with, documents that can be consulted, with the programs, some sort of leadership. And we felt that, okay, now maybe it's time that we go back to our normal, politics that we are used to. And unfortunately, that time, agree, in the EFF, there's no check in and check out.
Yes,
So,
yes.
one option, let us focus where we think we can contribute, and then MK became an attractive party.
Of course, when you look at it, MK and EFF ideologies are, well, almost the same thing.
So,
Um, you look at the fact that while Floyd went there, he helped draft the constitution. That's what we think we know. We don't know. Maybe in private, they would say it's not him. But let me just put and say he's one of the people who helped draft the constitution. Now, there is Floyd. People are saying this guy is very impactful. From the national organizer, suddenly the SG, the guy who goes in April, goes to visit Bushiri in Malawi. I mean, we all have choices, uh, rights to do whatever we want. And you look at the issue of Bushiri, it was more of this guy is a fugitive, and Floyd goes there. Um, would you think that him going there, there's nothing wrong with it, or do you think it was something he shouldn't have done?
well, I do not want to be the judge when it comes to that. I think we see things differently. But what interests me is that so the guy went
Mhm.
and came back. When he was questioned, he says, "But this decision I did not take alone. I consulted. There's nothing that I do without consulting the president. Whatever decision I take, I mean, I consult with the president." And then he comes back, we're told that no, he's removed because of the trip. Really, we're not fools, we're not kids. Whether it was correct for him to go or not, it's another thing. But we're simply saying, look, if you if you claim to be a party, rooted in discipline, number one, then your discipline must never have eyes. You must apply discipline without favor, without fear. You
Mhm.
must be consistent in a manner that you know uh, you discipline people. So I feel that it was just some sort of a scapegoat. It was some sort of a scapegoat. I think the leadership was waiting for some sort of an opportunity to, unleash their next move on Floyd. Um, those smaller moves that we're seeing on the ground and all that stuff,
Mhm.
I think they were also amplified by the leadership at the national level. I think he threatened a whole lot of people. I think his style of leadership, you cannot be from the EFF and find it easy anyway. The style of politics in the EFF, the style of leadership, and how we do things with that background in a new political home somehow creates tensions because people are not used to this style, and this is the style and approach that most of us prefer.
Mhm.
Um, the style of command and control. Though others will say no, it's dictatorship and all that. I think too much freedom and democracy in a party is toxic on itself. It
Exactly.
creates an environment where it's a free for all. And
Mhm.
that must never be seen when you apply discipline as in being some sort of a dictator. So we don't have a problem, some of us, with President Zuma saying, no, I'm dealing with the issues of discipline. Something wrong happened. We don't have a problem with that.
Mhm.
But something wrong happened. His daughter insulted the Secretary General of a political
I
party.
wanted to go there. Yes.
So, so you, and then, uh, I mean, you're just quiet like that as the president. You're quiet because it's your daughter. And then you come back in a rally yesterday, you say, no, bangasenzi ukuthi sikhulume asifuni ukukhuluma ukuthi kwenzakeni. My man, in an organization now that appears there is no stability, there is no decisive leadership, and you are the one who's steering this ship. If there is something that warrants you to speak about the reasons why you removed an SG and try to be diplomatic, really you are missing the opportunity. You are leaving a whole lot of room for speculations and suspicions. You are fueling this rumor to say, no, this party will never be a stable party. This party will never be, properly handled. It will remain a family stokvel and all those. So you miss the opportunities to showcase that even if it's your child, once they are on the right side, politically or organizationally, you will never hesitate. You will discipline them. You did not discipline them. Okay, you get a platform as a president to speak on issues of discipline consistently and so on. You don't. You say, "Hi, banga ngenza ukuthi sikhulume." How many times President Zuma has been saying, when the time is right, we will talk? Because if you don't speak as the president, the masses will make up their minds. And they might be correct and they might be incorrect. And you can't find comfort and joy as a leader to say, we had 7 SGs now and see nothing wrong with that. Really. And then you echo the words of your daughter. Duduzile says, no, as long as whatever we're doing makes sense internally, we don't care what outside, how we're viewed outside. Hey, my man, a party exists. Part of the reason it exists, it attracted the masses so that it seizes state power, political power, ultimately that will lead to state power. So if you don't care about those people who must then elevate you, and then what is your ultimate political program? What is it that you want to achieve as a party if you don't care about the people that you must attract? Because you can't rely on the bloc that voted for you only. You must also now find a way of growing this political party outside KZN. So once you start telling us, even those who had no political home, no interest in politics, all of a sudden found MKS if it presents some sort of an alternative, and then you tell us from the word go that you don't care what happens, how we are viewed outside, as long as it makes sense inside, then we're in trouble. We are really in trouble. Really.
So Mary Party, Duduzile Zuma, are they a factor if you look at it in terms of Floyd maybe being sidelined and then maybe them being closer to the leader, Jacob Zuma?
Well, of course, they are a factor. For a drastic decision to be taken like that, there must be some factors that are contributing towards. And whether you take a Mary Party seriously politically or not, it's another thing. Whether you take it seriously politically or not, it's another thing. But when you bring together, all these voices against one person, gives you a clear sense that there is an agenda. And I think they've won in relation to that agenda. So definitely, it might not be them alone, because it does not appear that it can only be Mary Party and Duduzile, and therefore. And then the jury issue and then later removed. But if you look at it, you realize it was a campaign, it was a program, it was well orchestrated. I think it involves a whole lot of senior leaders also in the MK, who might have said, no, look, we need to get rid of this guy. Life is no longer the same. Other people are not used to accounting. Other people are not used to firm leadership. Other people don't like really being led. They just feel, all right, this one is going to be a problem. So really contributed to that. And it will be stupid of us not to want to acknowledge how programs that are orchestrated can ultimately lead to some decisions taken. Whether they are correct or not is another thing.
So let us say we go to Home Affairs, we change from Patrick Sindane to Floyd Shivambu. You are in that situation. What then do you do currently? Jacob Zuma just spoke yesterday. Don't go to Twitter and maybe tell us messages that we don't get like he's doing now. What do you do? Because you just heard the president speaking, and obviously it's directed at you. As Floyd Shivambu, what would you do?
My brother, I would I would do exactly what I did personally as Patrick Sindane when I saw that he has been removed as an SG.
Mhm.
I will have to decide. I think Comrade Floyd must not force himself on the MK. Comrade Floyd must leave the MK. The fact that he said in one interview that even if he's removed as an SG, he will never leave MK must not hold him hostage. That statement might have been informed by the environment then. The situation was different compared to what it is now. You can see that I'm not wanted here. So why do you want to prove that you can be true to your words? You are scared to be seen as a person who's a flip flopper. It does not mean anything. You are not welcomed here. You are not needed here. Your contribution is no longer required here. Don't force yourself, and therefore leave. And then so there are people who are saying no, you must go to the ANC, which I don't agree with. Really, I agree with the ANC. He can't go back to the EFF already. It's a done thing. Must he leave politics? No. Hence, there are rumors that no, he must study. He's starting his party and all that stuff. Is there anything wrong there? I don't see anything wrong with that. Maybe it's his opportunity to showcase his political talent and lead something on his own and then demonstrate to South Africans to say, look, we've been here and here and here, but we're here. There's nothing wrong with that. If he wants to, which I think he must, I mean, he must pursue something different. I don't think there will be a political party that will be able to, to contain Floyd. I think whatever that has happened until now, he must find a way of trying to lead something that he has initiated himself. So I don't see nothing wrong here.
Yes. Well, I must tell you, you are very ahead of me because I was about to ask you about him opening a party. Well, since you are ahead, let me put it in another way. Say Floyd opens a party, and then I've always said that I value, I think I respect what Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is because you have people like Mbuyiseni, you have people like Floyd, you bring them together. If there is understanding, there can be results. So say Floyd opens a party, maybe he approaches people like Mbuyiseni. We don't know if they will agree or not, since he's a radio host, and he goes to Patrick and says, "I'm opening a party, and I think we can do it." Do you agree? Do you say no, not yet?
No, I've had a couple of interviews, and I've always avoided to respond to this question, simply because number one, I was busy with my studies. And number two, I wanted to relax a little bit because I knew that ultimately I'll have to take a decision. And there are political parties that are engaging me as we speak. And I wouldn't want to respond for the sake of responding. But if you want to ask me if I will ever be in a party that is led by Floyd, I've been in a party that was led by Floyd in the EFF. We formed a party. He was the deputy president, so he was more senior than me, so he led me. When I joined MK, Floyd was the secretary general, so he led me. So should I decide to join a party? Do I have a problem joining a party that is formed by Floyd? No, don't have a problem joining a party that is formed by Floyd. I will join it should my decision be the one to say, okay, now I'm joining a new party. I will definitely do that should I feel it's the right move to do. I don't have a problem with him as Floyd. I love his politics, but I think he still has a lot to offer. So I'll definitely join a party that he has formed should my decision be to continue being fully active in South African politics and try something new. I'll definitely do that. I don't think I will have a problem.
Okay, moving right along from the issue of Floyd, now I want to go to a more personal battle that you fight in this political journey of yours, the illegal foreigners.
Yes,
I've seen videos of you posting. You go inside Chinese, Pakistani, and I'm like, is Patrick not afraid that these guys might really go after him? Because you just go there and make sure that, hey, I just want to see how many foreigners you have. So this fight that you've been having, and I saw you even in the PA doing it, is it continuing?
definitely. It's something that I will do everywhere I get an opportunity because I feel strong about it. It's a personal matter to me to say, look, rather than complaining, let me do something. And I think South Africans and South Africa as a country, we have too much problems of our own, and the resources, the little resources we have, must be managed and utilized in such a way that they benefit citizens of this country.
Mhm.
Now, if you allow the influx of illegal foreigners into your country and want to be scared to speak about it because you're going to be seen as xenophobic, it's not something that I'm prepared to do. I will continue fighting this fight, and ensure that I become part of that voice that says, but but our resources must work for us. You know, we see a whole lot of crimes that we've never experienced as South Africans growing. We never knew these things of spiking of vehicles and all that stuff.
Mhm.
You know, kidnapping and all that stuff. You know, stealing of these batteries that into the tunnel and all that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah. The towers, yeah.
was and all those things. So you realize, Urbana, our country is being infiltrated.
Mm.
And rather than being a Twitter warrior, we tweet and go fight. So I really, even when I go there, I don't think about my safety, whether these guys will come to me and all. I'm really not a small boy. I just don't like violence, but I'm not a small boy. Once I take a decision to say I'm going, I will go. And if there's something that must happen, I have got the capacity to respond. So I don't have issues. But for my country, I will do everything that I think I need to do.
Yes.
And that's a fight that I'm going to continue pursuing.
There was a registration, spaza shops being registered, and suddenly people are moving around. Others are registering for those guys, and then next thing, all silence. We no longer hear about it. It's like, is the government really turning a blind eye on this issue of spaza shops? Because you look at it, our local economy, it's spaza shops. Are they really
Mm.
turning a blind eye on this issue?
Were led by people who are so unpatriotic. Um, in every crisis, they want to create their own opportunity, and and things like spaza shop, hair salons, and what, those are in a normal society. Those are things that must be reserved for citizens of those of a particular country. I mean, why would you not want to protect such a small thing? They've but it's smaller in a sense of in terms of how it's viewed or valued in a bigger scheme of things, particularly economical. But it contributes also a lot to the economy of the country, that
Mhm.
informal business. So it's not a useless thing. There's a whole lot of money there. But also this 500 million that was pumped in,
Mhm.
it's an opportunity for cadres to steal through the pain of South Africans. It's an opportunity to say, okay, you know this idea of throwing money in every problem. Let's just
Mhm.
throw money. Hey, 700 million, we want to talk about these problems. You realize, but we're led by people who will do anything to put their hands on this money that, so, you know. So, so I think South Africans must stand up. They must fight.
Mhm.
And South African government must never be apologetic. It must support black businesses, township economy, and it must support it like in practice, not through rhetoric, in practice.
Mhm.
And and we'll have a great country because it somehow reduces expectations and pressure from the government. You know, if people can be self-sustain on the ground, be able to put bread and butter, you know, it somehow relieves pressure. It's one thing that I will protect with all my heart.
I just want to take it here. What is your whole view of that trip, really? Ramaphosa going to meet Donald Trump and the issue of, because it comes from that misinformation by Elon Musk. What do you think? Was it proper for him to really go there?
I don't have a problem with Cyril going to meet Donald Trump. South Africa cannot exist in isolation. He's a president, there are other presidents, you know, there are relations, you know, economic and otherwise. So there's nothing wrong.
Mhm.
But Cyril missed an opportunity to set the agenda straight. When he left here, he was telling us how he's not going to be bullied. He can be told by Trump and all, trying to be sound more revolutionary than Mugabe. And then all of a sudden he gets there. Instead of setting the agenda straight to say, look, my man, this is what is happening inside. It's not like he owes him some sort of an explanation, but he owes the world. He should have utilized that space to educate the world about South Africa and Africa as a continent. He did not only fail South Africa, he failed the whole of Africa in terms of how Africa should be viewed, particularly in terms of leadership. He had an opportunity to demonstrate that we're not fools. He should have put the guy, you know, in a very proper place.
Mhm.
He used that opportunity in such a way that demonstrated some sense of weakness. But for him to go there, I would have used that space properly to send a message to share as much as we have relations with you, trade and otherwise. But we're an independent state. You know, we can't always be told. We can exist basically without America. But also we can't be reckless and say just because we can exist without America, therefore let's just go for a king. But if I get a platform in an office like that,
Mhm.
I utilize it to demonstrate to the world that Trump, as much as he claims to be a leader of a great nation, but the guy is extremely foolish. He's extremely foolish, and somebody must put him in his place. And Cyril should have done that to say, communicate his ideas, his plans, his leadership style, and all that stuff, and then reduce Trump to what he exactly is: a very arrogant, misinformed guy who would take even, pictures of Congo and say this is white genocide happening in South Africa,
Mhm.
and then uh, and then think that will disrespect the president of a country like that. He missed that opportunity to showcase his real skills.
Perhaps he was nervous because he thought about the moment with Zelensky and he thought, if I really take the opportunity, I might be put in the corner. And then I have to ask, the shoot to kill, Dubuli Bunu, shoot to kill, do we still continue singing that song? I know the history around it and the court judgment, but according to you, do we still continue singing it or do we pack it?
Should should we have a problem with shoot to kill? It's a complete rejection of our political history. And my love and support for the shoot to kill chant, it's informed by the understanding that it does not literally mean shoot to kill the Boers in this context.
Mhm.
But during the struggle time, apartheid time, it meant exactly what it sounds like. So it continues being a chant to agitate. I don't think that all of us would want to agree that no, the song says no, shoot to kill, and then we must kill them literally. That's not what the chant is saying. So I
Mhm.
really don't have a problem with that. I'm a person who loves slogans and stuff, and it helps those who still don't understand. As much as we might be in this false rainbow nation and appear like we're some sort of united country, we're not. So when you say shoot to kill the farmer, kill the boomer, you are simply trying to demonstrate some sense of saying even our economy is still in the hands of these people. And therefore, shoot to kill does not mean kill them literal. You are just identifying who is the oppressor, not only politically in the past, but economically even now. You are, you are identifying the problem. These people remain our problem. Our land is still in their hands. Our economy is still in their hands. The top banks in South Africa are still controlled by them. Anywhere you go. So it's an agitation to say, look, the struggle is not over. Let us continue to fight. So I don't buy this argument to say, no, it must be parked, it's no longer relevant. If you understand the politics of South Africa in relation to how did we get conquered by, the whites in general, you don't want to believe this false freedom that we're told or we have attained. We've not attained anything. And therefore, such things, chance reminds you of where you come from. And you cannot want to say, that song is responsible for the murder or the killings of white people. White people are killing themselves in those farms. We see them killing each other for insurance and for other reasons, and then blame it on South Africans. So I don't think it's something that needs to be debated to say, no, should we pack? We're not packing anything. That is our history. That's where we come from. If we feel that we must continue seeing it, we must continue seeing it, because we are still able to identify really who's the enemy.
Okay. In closing, are we going to see Mr. Patrick Sindane anytime soon chanting as a member of a political party, or are you just taking your time for now, making your decision for the future?
My brother, you're going to see me. In one interview I did, I think it was last week somewhere, I said before the end of June, I would have announced my next move. By the look of things, it looks like June July is starting to be very far. So very soon, and you'll be one of the first to know. I will definitely make you aware that, my man, because I've always been consistent that I will still be active in politics. I still be South African politics. I think they can still work, and that is a platform we have, or else we run a risk of becoming something different. There are many ways of seizing state power, but currently our constitution still allows us to pursue this peaceful means, and therefore we must never give up that easy. Let's continue. One day, whatever we think will work for us, we'll get that. So I'm still going to be extremely active in politics, especially that we're going to 2026. I don't want to be complaining about useless councillors. I want to be part of the people who have shaped the leadership of these municipalities, and therefore I don't have the luxury of sitting and complaining. I'm going back to the street. So I'm going to be announcing in a very few days. I don't care whether you say, no, he left here, he went here. We run a risk of becoming passive spectators simply because we are scared of what people think of us. You were here and then you. Hibana, we are told by people who changes Inyangas and Sangomas more than they change their underwears that don't move, must remain stagnant. No. Once I see that I still have the passion and the fire, I will contribute where I feel that I must play my role. Not going to be told by anyone that, no, you just left here. I left. Why must I stay when I realize, Urbana, here I can contribute, and it's not what I thought. It's something that will take me all South Africa somewhere. So I'll still be in politics without and I'll be in the forefront. I'm not doing those things of backdoor.
Of being the backdoors.
I mean, knocking door to door, doing all those things that I like doing, so that we are able to agitate and mobilize our people properly to say politics of South Africa can still work, and we don't have time to allow confusion and leave our future in the hands of people that we did not shape as to who do we want to see leading us. So I'm going to be part of those who are saying, let's make South African politics work. And then I will announce freely and like openly like that. I will announce. Yeah.
My brother, I must really thank you for taking your valuable time. And when you say we are going to see you, I'll be watching because I think we are having a problem with old age and they don't want to leave. And you
Yeah.
guys, if you don't really push, will end up having the situation of Mugabe. They want to die in power. So it is the only thing you guys have to do.
No, no, no. We're definitely going to fight. Definitely going to contribute. And South African politics are very interesting. And I think they're more interesting now. And we're calling on young people
Mhm.
to contribute. Whatever you do in your life, it's somehow political. The reason you are not at school now, but you've qualified, it's a political decision. The reason a lot of people go to bed hungry is because of politicians. Everything somehow is connected to politics. So you will never say, no, I'm not interested in those things. Whether you are directly or indirectly, politics affect you. So you might as well want to be part of this platform and say, look, let me also do my part, and try to shape the future of this country.
My brother, our doors will always be open whenever you want to say something. I am very grateful for you being part of this interview, and it brings light to the many issues that we are currently seeing. So I'll be hoping to speak to you as a member of what political party soon. And in all conclusion, thank you very much, my brother.
No, thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking to you. And indeed, we are saying Africa, Maibuye, this is our Africa. Let's make sure that as much as we might be having problems, but let us work together and ensure that we make politics work for our respective countries. Thank you very much.